Hello and welcome to 1851 with this gorgeous pre-Civil War era shawl. With this being a 173-year-old print, I did struggle to clean this up. So you will be able to pick this up in the link down below, but just know I worked and worked and worked to clean up the background, to make the black stand out, and try to crisp up the letters. It looks really good on computer, on tablet, on phone. If you are going to print this at your printer's highest DPS. I printed this at 1200 DPS. This one here was printed at 600. So it still looks okay with 600, but it's definitely not as crystal clear. Okay, so there, just wanted to give you a heads up on that. If you do pick this up and you typically use your tablet and stuff, you're fine. This isn't going to be a problem for you at all. All right, let's get right into the pattern. The pattern calls for a sport weight chinchilla or imitation chinchilla. All of my sport weights are just sort of cheapy acrylics, and I really want this to look nice. So I am going to go off pattern ever so slightly with a number 4 worsted weight or Aran weight. This is the Red Heart Super Saver brushed, which is the closest thing to a chinchilla type yarn that I have. And this pattern calls for a bell gauge number 8, which is the equivalent of an I 5.5 millimeter hook. Okay, and that is my 1840s replica bell gauge, so it fits within the time since this is only 1851 here. Okay, let's get into this gorgeous little pre-Civil War era pattern. It wants us to start with a chain of 61. You can use any size yarn or hook that you want. You can follow the pattern for a more lacy look. Use a sport weight. This isn't going to give a lacy look, the yarn I'm using. This is going to give a thick, cozy, comfy type look, and it's also going to make the shawl bigger than is laid out in the pattern. But it does say in the pattern, it says that you can, if a larger one is required, the center may be increased by merely repeating the rows, or an extra border can be added. So they have options for how to make it bigger. Well, I'm going to use a thicker yarn, and that will automatically make it bigger. But then again, I'm bigger. I'm bigger than everyone that existed in the 1850s as far as women go. Most of us are. We're just better fed, or we're stuffed full of more GMOs, preservatives, and fillers. But we're all bigger than 1851 folk. Okay, chain 61. I'll be right back. And I did decide just now to go ahead and actually bump up to a 6 millimeter hook since I am using such a thicker yarn. I don't want it to be stiff. I still want it to have a bit of drape. So, okay, the pattern wants us to skip the first 3 stitches, or the first 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, and in the 4th chain, work a plain or a single crochet or a UK double crochet. Now we're going to, oh, by the way, this pattern is worked entirely in US single crochet and UK double crochet and chains. Chain 1, skip 1, work a single crochet in the next. Now, chain 1, don't skip 1, but work a single crochet in the next. This is the repeat. Chain 1, now we skip 1, work a single crochet in the next. Chain 1, do not skip 1, work a single crochet in the next. So every other single crochet and chain 1, we will skip 1. Now we will skip 1, chain 1, skip 1, work a single crochet in the next. Chain 1, do not skip 1, single crochet in the next. We are looking for a total of 38 single crochet worked all the way to the end. So I will meet back up with you when we get to the end. And if you get stuck and you're like, wait, what did I just work? Just separate your work a little bit. You can see a space here and no space here. So I didn't skip 1 here, which means I need to chain 1, skip 1, and work a single crochet in the next, which then means I'm going to chain 1 and not skip 1 and work a single crochet. Okay, and it is going to curve it a little bit. All right, I will be right back. Okay, I have my 38 single crochet worked. So now what we're going to do is meet the two ends together, and we're going to find the center without stretching and pulling. We just want the naturally occurring center. So I'm not stretching and pulling. There we go. And that space right there is where my center is. Okay, that's so that we can create a point. Okay, so for the increase, each row will be worked like this. This is essentially a 1-row repeat. You're going to chain 4, then in the first chain made of the chain 4, so skip 3 chains, and in that 4th chain, work a single crochet. Chain 1. Now in that first chain 1 space, so skipping over the single crochet, and in that first chain 1 space, work your single crochet. Chain 1, and we're going to work chain 1 and work a single crochet into the chain 1 space of every row now. So there's the chain 1 space, so we chain 1 and we work a single crochet into that chain 1 space. Chain 1, work a single crochet into that space. That's the repeat all the way across, right there. Chain 1. Okay, when you get down to the, well, actually, no, we have to work the point. Okay. So I will be back when we get to the stitch marker where we're going to start creating a point. But you can see the chain 1 spaces between the single crochets is where we're going to work all of our stitches, separated by a chain 1 for the next row, because this chain 1 we will work in the next row. Okay, I've got one more space to work before the stitch marker. Now I'm going to chain 1, and into that chain 1 space where the stitch marker was, let's work a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, all into that same space. And you can go ahead and mark that again if you want to. That chain 2 space. There you go. Now we chain 1, and we just continue to work in all of the chain 1 spaces all the way to the end. And I will be right back with you when we get to the end. There we go. Okay, let's finish this row, row 2 off. So I have this space right here, just past this last single crochet. Go ahead and work your stitch. And then again, we're going to chain 4, work a single crochet into that first of the 4 chains just made. Turn, skip the single crochet. Oh, we have to chain 1 first. And into the chain 1 space, start working your single crochets until you get to the point where in the chain 2 space, you will work a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. When you get down to the other end, you have your chain 1 space right here that your chain 4 created, and that's where you're going to work your last stitch, where you're then going to chain 4, work a single crochet in the first of the 4 chains, and then just like we're doing now. So this is the 1-row repeat for a total of 8 rows. There we go. Just chain 1, skip 1, work single crochet in the chain 1 space. Chain 1, skip single crochet right there into the chain 1 space. Very, very simple. Okay, I will be right back when I get to the center point. I'll work the center increase with you one more time. Okay, let's work the center increase. I've already chained 1, work my single crochet, chain 1, and into that chain 2 space, we work our single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, all into that space, then chain 1 and into the next chain 1 space over. Okay, I will be right back. We are to the end, and I have, that is just a huge single crochet right there. Here I have the space created by skipping the 3 chains on the chain 4. So just work a single crochet into that chain 3 space, chain 4 again, and we're going to create another chain 3 space. So we skip 1, 2, 3 chains, and in that first chain made, there we go, we work a single crochet, and that created another chain 3 space on the end that we will work into. So now we chain 1, skip the first single crochet, and into that chain 1 space. We just continue to work like this. Very, very easy. What we are looking for is a grand total of 11 rows worked like this, because it says to work 8 more rows than the last being row 3. So 8, 9, 10, 11. We're looking for a total of 11 rows just by looking. So I'm on row 5 now, and I will be back whenever I am at row 11. See you in a bit. Okay, row 11 done. Now we are ready for row 12, which is going to be an increase row. So let's start like we have been with our chain 4, and then single crochet into that first chain made, chain 1, and we're going to skip the single crochet and go into the chain 1 space as before. Let's chain 1 and into that same space work another single crochet for the increase, chain 1 and work a single crochet into the next 3 chain 1 spaces. So that was 1, 2, 3. Into the next chain 1 space, we work another increase. So every 4 chain 1 spaces, we're going to work this increase with our single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1. Now into the next 1, 2, 3 spaces, we work our regular stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th stitch over, we work the increase. One more time, chain 1 and 1, 2, 3 regular stitches. 1, 2, 3. I was heavily distracted by Merlin just now. I think he just took something out of the trash. I'm gonna go get him real quick. In that 4th stitch, we work our increase. I'm certain he did. He just ran out the back door. Hang on, let me go get my puppy kid. Be right back. Yeah, okay. So I made myself one of my sweet potato salads earlier, and I put hamburger patties in it, and just to make things easier for me. Okay, that was my increase there, so the next 3 stitches. So to make things easier for me, I usually just buy the frozen, pre-made patties, pre-shaped patties. They have a little piece of paper between each patty. Well, he went and got one of them little pieces of paper out of the trash, took it to the backyard. Little brat. That's okay, he's my little brat. Okay, so that was my increase, 1, 2, 3 regular stitches, and then we work another increase. We're going to work the increase at the point the same as usual, and you will finish off this pattern the same as usual. This row. I'm all kinds of distracted now. Okay, so work this increase row, and then this is row 13 or 12. Then for another 12 rows, work the pattern as usual with no increases, just like we did for the first 11 rows. So basically until you get to row 24. At the end of row 24, come on back. Okay, so this is just the one-off increase row that we have in this pattern. besides the first one. Okay, so this is my increase. I can tell just by looking over, I can see that's an increase. 1, 2, 3 regular stitches, now an increase. All right, so I will see you guys at the end of this row. I'll start the next row with you, but if you want to work on ahead, it's just going to be 12 more rows, just like we did here. I'll start the next row with you, and again, you'll work that for another 12 rows. Let's finish this row together. You will probably hear some background noise. My boys are in the kitchen doing kitchen stuff, making food. Okay, so I just worked here's my last increase right here, and we have 1, 2, 3 regular stitches with my chain 1. So in this chain 3 space on the end, I'm going to work my increase, chain 1, another single crochet, and then again, chain 4, single crochet into the first, chain 1. Now, into that increase right there in the last, there we go, it's right there. Work into that chain 1 space. Chain 1, work into all the chain 1 spaces. Be sure that you don't miss the chain 1 space between the increases. They're not going to be the easiest to spot. They're not impossible to spot, but they're not as easy as these. They're a little more closed up. So you have to make sure we don't miss those. And then the increase on the point is the same. Work it the same is what I mean to say. Okay, so here is my chain 1 right here in that increase. Now, 1, 2, 3 regular chain 1 spaces, and then, oh, I have one more, sorry. Then my increase, this is an increase here, and then right between those 2 single crochet is where I need to work that stitch. So this row might be a little fussy for you just because you have to really be careful not to miss your chain 1 spaces in the increases. But like I was saying, go ahead and work your point the same way. Single crochet, chain 2 single crochet, and you're going to work a total of 24 rows now. Work 12 rows. This is row 13. That are just the same as how we worked down here. So we're just going to maintain the pattern repeat that we worked down here with no more increases for the next 12 rows, being the row 1 of 12 right here. So this is technically row 13. So, and that is, there we go, row 13 is what we are on now, because row 12 was our increase row. Okay, and here is another increase. And that is my chain 1 right there. Not the easiest to spot, but this is the only row we have to worry about that with, so it's fine. Okay, guys, I will see you at the end of row 24. There we go. Okay, so I have completed row 24. Now for row 25, this is our first color change, and this is what they're calling the small border. So it wants us to actually cut, weave in our ends, and then attach a new color, but we can just join with the new color as we always do. So it wants us to use black, white, and then black again for this portion, but I'm going to use orange, pink, and orange because it's going to be easier for you all to be able to see that on camera. So this is where they want us to join the black, so we will just pretend that this is the black yarn. And it says to just continue working in the regular stitch pattern that we have been working in. So that is, of course, to chain 4, create a chain 3 space, chain 1, and into that first space, we start working our regular stitch pattern, no increases. There we go. So it says to work 1 row with black, then 1 row in white and 1 row in black. So I'm going to be doing the orange, the pink, and the orange. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah. Okay, so I will be back at the other end of this row for our next color change. Okay, now time for row 26, which is supposed to be our white color row, but I'll be using this sort of powdery, dusty pink. Chain 4, single crochet, chain 1, and continue as normal with our regular pattern. And then when we get down to the other end, I'll reattach this orangey color here, but it calls to reattach the black. And so do this again. So I will be back. I'm going to go ahead and work this pink row, then 1 more of the orange, and I will be back when I am at the end of my second orange row here. That will complete the small border, as they call it. I don't know why I did air quotes. It's called the small border. It's not like hypothetically the small border. I'll be right back. So I read the pattern wrong. It said with the white, work 5 rows. So I'm going to work 5 total rows of the pink and then follow that up with 1 more row of this orange. So forgive me on that. It is not 1 row black, 1 row white, 1 row black. It is 1 black, 5 white, 1 black. Okay, so I will be back whenever I'm done doing all of that. Literally nothing else changes in the pattern. We don't do any increases or decreases or anything like that. We just stick to the regular stitch pattern. So I will be right back after I work 5 rows of the pink and 1 more of the orange. Okay, so there we go. That is the 1 row of black, 5 rows of the white, and 1 row of the black. Obviously, your eyes are not playing a trick on you. I'm just reading what the pattern says. I didn't use those colors. Now it wants us to work 5 rows in the same color as the center. This is what they're calling the center. So I'm going to grab my like steely blue color here and complete my last single crochet with this blue gray. I think it's like steely blue, something like that. I suppose I could just look at it, but okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, now I want to know. Misty blue. Okay. And we're just going to work our regular pattern as usual. No increasing. There we go. Okay, so work 5 rows in your main color. I will be back whenever I have 5 rows done. There we go. I'll be right back. Okay, so there we go. There is my 5 rows of the main color. Now I'm just going to go ahead and put on screen right here. We're going to do 1 row of black, 1 row of 7 rows of white, and then of course followed by 1 more row of black. And I will put that up here with little asterisks next to the colors because it can be any color that you choose. I'm just simply reciting to you verbatim what's on the pattern. So here we go. We're going to do our black, 7 rows of white, black. So then I will leave you to it because this pattern repeat is so easy, isn't it? What a nice chill pattern to work on. Nothing complicated, no thread work. Tell you what, my wrist is really thanking me for this. I've had some pains in my wrist as of the last month. So I've had to kind of make myself take a break from the fine crochet work. There we go. We work our single crochet. And we begin. I will be back whenever all of that is all done and we will go from there. I think after that we're going to work on this portion here. The portion that goes up the arms and around the neck. So we shall see. I will be right back. Okay, so we have now completed what they refer to as the large border. Now they want us to turn our work like this, and we're going to repeat everything we did on what they call the small border along the edge that goes up. And this is the neck portion, and across the neck portion and back down again. So, of course, going based on this, we're going to start with the dark, 5 rows of the light, 1 row of the dark. And they do say to cut and weave in, but that's not entirely necessary. So here we go. I'm just going to chain 1, and actually I'm going to chain 4. There we go. And then I'm going to just go into this first loop right here. There's no actual instruction on how to do this, so I'm just working it out. Chain 1, and I'm just going to go into that space right there, and there goes Merlin. And I'm just going to kind of go into every space. It seems like I am skipping enough spaces that it feels like I'm skipping over a whole stitch. So this is working out pretty good. Yeah. So I'll just go into the little valley, and then go into the hill. Let's work the valleys and the hills. I go into the little valley here, chain 1, and then I'll go into the hill. Okay, so I'll do this all the way across. I'll come back, and let's see, I'll skip that. I'll come back whenever I get to the end. I am going to weave in these ends along the way. I'm just going to bury them behind my work. But I'll be back whenever we get up to this portion right here at the start of our foundation chain. Okay, so I have reached to the point now where I am getting close to my foundation chain edge. So I'm just going to go ahead and work into this random space right here. And I'll go ahead and work into the side of this stitch here. Chain 1, and I'll weave in this tail along the way. Let's see here. I'll go ahead and work another single crochet just right here. There we go. And then, oh, I probably should go ahead and work into the actual, well, there we go. And then, let's see here. I see we already have that sort of worked out, don't we? If we look, we already have our chain 1 spaces. So actually, yes, I will work into that space. Chain 1, skip the stitch, and work into the chain 1 space. Yes. Chain 1, skip that stitch, and then work into the space, just like we were doing before. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to work this all the way down the other side of the point. Then I'm going to attach my pink, work my 5 rows in the pink. Then I will attach the orange, and then that will be that as far as around this edge goes. So it's just like we did before, chaining 4, work your single crochet into the, skip 3 chains, work your single crochet, and continue working back and forth, back and forth. So I will be back whenever I am all done with working this along the edge. Okay, all done with the border that goes along the neck area. And I know I can't get the whole thing in the camera, but of course I'm going to do a reveal at the end here. So now we have our our final sort of optional decorative border. It wants us to change color again to the the color that we used as a main color. Okay, so I will grab my blue. Okay, so let's chain 1. Now working along the lower edge, so the edge that will hang down toward your waist. So this edge here that we just worked is the edge that goes across your arms, shoulders, and neck. So now this edge here is the edge that hangs down toward the waist. And we're going to work a single crochet, chain 4, 2, 3, 4, that's 5. And basically figure out what would be the equivalent, at least in this portion right here, figure out what would be the equivalent of skipping a stitch, and I think down here would be, and work a single crochet. Chain 4, and I'll work into this loop here, chain 4, and down into this little valley here. That's my dryer. Singing its I'm done song. Okay, skip that. What do we have here? Another loop. Okay, work into that loop. Did I skip too much? No. Okay, 2, 3, 4. Now that we are on sort of our regular stitch pattern, just start working a chain 4 plus single crochet into all the chain spaces. All the way across. And I'll just quickly show you what the second round of this optional more decorative border is. So we're going to pretend like this last stitch here is all the way down at the other end. So now what we're going to do is chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Turn your work, and right into that loop, just work a single crochet. And chain 7, 5, 6, 7, and single crochet into the loop all the way back to the other end. 5, 6, 7. Again, this portion here is entirely optional. So I'll work a couple of these, a couple more, so you get an idea of how it looks. Okay, here we go. So this is how the edge will look. It's nothing like totally special, just a little bit of an extra border. Okay, I'm not particularly crazy about it. I don't really like how messy it looks. So I'm just going to keep it kind of borderless like that. And be happy with the way it looks as is. I like the straight lines. I think it looks really nice and clean with the straight lines. To each his own, you know. So I'm going to go ahead and weave in the ends I need to weave in. And I'm going to show you how this looks on the mannequin, as I don't want to be on camera today. I am a mess. I am an absolute mess. So I hope that's okay and understandable with you. I'm mostly the hands of this operation, you know, so I will go ahead and put this on my dress form. Okay, so there it is on the mannequin. It is very, very pretty. Okay, and here it is wrapped around. Now, if you have a sweater pin or a sweater clip, here, I'll spin this around for you. I just used a pin. I've got sweater pins, but I can't find them. But I used a pin to pin that in. But if you had a sweater pin, you can just pin that and wear it sort of Sontag style, you know? There we go. Very, very pretty. I really like it wrapped around. I love the collar, the like natural collar that it creates. It's so cozy and pretty. Oh, that has to be a thumbnail right there. So again, I really love the natural collar that this is creating. And if you do have a sweater pin or a sweater clip, you can just clip it right there like that. And That's actually quite lovely. That's actually quite lovely. Oh my gosh. I like it better without the decorative border. I just do. I think this is a little bit more of a modern look. It's a little more clean look. You know, we like cleaner lines, you know, in the more modern era, but isn't that gorgeous? Let's get another look at the back. There it is from the side real quick. I really love the natural collar. Okay, and there it is from the back. It doesn't hang down too low, so it won't overtake your whole outfit and cover everything up, but it's a wonderful, completely like, you know, torso type shawl, and I love it as a wrap. I really do. So I went and found my sweater clips. I really needed to see this clipped off to the side. What a stunning piece this is. So make this in some kind of scarlet, deep maroon, something that's a kind of a deep brownish red and some gold. Oh my God, gorgeous. That is going to be a very sophisticated looking piece, perfect for a night out. Absolutely beautiful, gorgeous with the sweater clip. I love this. Okay, guys, that's it. Our 1851 crochet simple pattern, right? Simple shawl. But we made it something kind of like, ma'am, it's that piece. It's that piece. Okay. Well, this simple little shawl never knew she had it in her, did she? She didn't know that she could actually be ready for a fancy night on the town in a modern New York City, for example. I'm picturing, when I see that, I'm picturing it in some kind of burgundy and gold or burgundy and white even, or gray. And I'm seeing it in New York, Manhattan. It's almost Christmas time. People are all around and you are looking your very best with a pair of gloves on and hair all done up with your wrap around you, that wrap all around you, with some great like skinny jeans or leggings and some like knee-high boots and a bag. Ma'am, best dressed out of the lot of them. Yeah, this simple little shawl never knew she had it in her, but there we go. 1851 pre-Civil War era shawl. This is the little decorative bit. It looks nice right here, but that's not the way it's described. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Remember, you can pick this pattern up. There's a link down below. I love you lots, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.